Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where Laf and I are here to take you through a very interesting program. You'll remember last week we showed a little bit of Seattle Slew. Well, this week we show in your call the demise or the coming back to reality of Seattle Slew. And it's very interesting to see some of the decisions that were made by the partners. The main one, kicking out the poor small trainer who didn't want to go, who trained him and trained him to win 9 in a row, didn't want to go to the West
California,
Coast.
yeah.
He said, this horse has had a hard campaign, let's not go. And they went to the West Coast and they got bumped J.O. Tobin and got beaten. And it just shows you. You know, the other horse that reminds me of was Secretariat. Had won the Triple Crown and then went to the North of America and ended up getting beaten by a horse called Onion.
Yeah.
J.O. Tobin was a very good horse.
Onion.
Onion was never any good.
Yeah, I remember it. The difference between Seattle Slew and Secretariat was he was unbeaten at the end of his Triple Crown, Seattle Slew.
Yeah.
Secretariat obviously had lost before that. But this just shows how owners can interfere with the trainer and bugger everything up.
Yeah.
This is the demise of this horse.
And the amazing thing is, if it had been with a big trainer, Baffert or Lucas or whatever, no one would have said a boo. But as soon as they were the small trainer...
Correct. They start dictating, telling him what to do. He's gone through the Triple Crown unbeaten. It was in the press, we're not going to go down to California at the West Coast. Yeah. This horse has had a tough... Now it's going.
Yeah.
And what does the small trainer say? Okay, don't want to lose the top horse, which he eventually lost.
Which he lost after the race anyway. As I say, that's coming up in your call. It's a fascinating article. We had some people that absolutely love it, and we love being able to put it on. But let's go straight into our 3 to follow. Right, the first one of the 3 to follow, we're going to Kenilworth Saturday, the 22nd of February. And this was a work riders race. Now, we don't normally pick up horses in work riders race, but take a look at this. I think this is a young Andrews' brother. Okay, so it's Annabelle and
Mr. Andrews.
Great start. Great start. Okay. We'll go and pick it up. We'll give you all the information after the race when we've looked it up on the website.
Let's go and have a look at the first one. There's a horse called Cape Siskin. As James said, this horse comes out a little slowly, and the horse that eventually wins the race is a horse called Surrey, who's been knocking on the door for a long, long time, been beaten and run out of it, and goes to the outside. Surrey, you can see, has got the red cap with the black sleeves on the outside. Now, Cape Siskin, the horse we found, drops off the speed down the inside. James, I think therein lies the rub.
Yeah, well, he's not even in the race here at this stage. The leader is Bandido Caballero, who shows a lot of pace and gets collared by Surrey on the line. It's actually quite a strong work riders race, this. But you watch this horse down the inside, Cape Siskin. It's just absolutely
it's not in the race.
At the death. And
Bandido Caballero has gone way too fast, been scrubbed out. Now Surrey's starting to pick them off. And a long way back down the inside, you'll start seeing this horse, Cape Siskin, who went into this race having run second.
Well, he's now fifth, okay? And inside the horse with the blue colours. And here he comes, gets a little shake up and a rub down and right down the inside. Oh, my goodness, this can't be long in winning a maiden. I'm not sure that he's that good, but he certainly should be able to win his next start.
Runner-up 3 times, James. You see the head on that race, he runs right across towards the winner, Surrey.
Okay, well, we worked out it's Terry and Annabelle Andrews. You remember from Surrender Stud?
Yes.
We worked it out, but I had Neil Andrews, you know, but he's the cousin.
Terry's, they're very good breeders.
Yeah, very good breeders.
Very good breeders.
And they produce good riders. He's at the beginning of his career, the younger Andrews. And we move on to race 2 at Kenilworth, where we found the next one to follow. This, very well bred. There was a little support for him. He's 16 to 1 into 10 to 1. There was a bit of a thought that he might be able to win. Let's go and pick up Light the Lights.
Yeah, interesting in this race. Light the Lights is on the outside, that's where he finishes. But the favourite here was a horse called River God, who had debuted on Met Day, very green on Met Day, and had an Argonaut, a beautiful big Argonaut, who had run a cracking good race. And look, the horse to beat here was River God, who firmed to 8 to 10. The winner looks a nice horse as well, Joey Ramsden's horse, which is King Vault. But the horse we found is called Light the Lights. It'll come up the outside.
Yeah, it's in the Triple H Trust colours, the Huttings colours. Those are the blue with yellow diamonds. Right on the left-hand side of the track, got a sheepskin noseband and a star. And he's getting scrubbed at this stage. When you look at the horses on the inside, there are a couple of them absolutely cruising. So he doesn't know what he's doing. And JP van der Merwe now starts getting him to run through a gap on the outside. The horse on his inside's hanging, but he runs on really well.
Yeah, River God's hit the frontier and looked like it's going to win. But up on his outside, Bernard Faderb's timed it beautifully on King Vault. The horse we've found is now running into third or so, but this is a cracking debut. He's a beautifully bred horse. And just as King Vault is going on to win it, this horse flashes up to get second.
Yeah, he gets a smack or two now and really gets to find his stride. I think he'll go on and win something, this horse. He's a very nice horse indeed. And King Vault won a good race. He ran a very good race first time out. We picked him up as one to follow. So you had to be on the right track there. So we're going to move on and go to Scottsville. And have a look at, this was a shrewdie. This Mace Roberts, he thinks he can get away with this. Not with us, you can't, Mace. They backed it from 20 to 1 to 7 to 1. It didn't look like a stable elect because it had Billy Jacobson on. And let's go and have a look at Be My Honey.
Yeah, I commented on this filly in the parade ring when I was doing the preview of the race. I thought very attractive filly. And she comes out the gates nicely with Billy in the black cap because Verna, Mace's wife, has got 2 in the race, 1-3 off the outside and 1 in the black cap. And they're going quickly. Your eventual winner is in the Sukraj colours, which is in pink. So they're basically alongside each other, the winner and the runner-up. And I think just the split in the race might suit the winner more than it did the runner-up, James.
Well, here the winner gets the run. The runner-up has got really nowhere to go. It's following the horse with the yellow colours and the stable companion with the white cap. But here you'll find that Mr. President gets the run and goes on to win the race. Now she's got to get through this filly first time out. They do open up for her. She gets through, but I think Mr. President's blown the coop. He's gone.
Yeah, I think you're right, James. And Donovan Dillon had timed it perfectly. Billy had a horse who just still learning, and Billy gets into her here, and she comes in. It's a very close finish. It's sparkling debut, and this can't be in the maidens too long.
Funny enough, the third horse, which is trained by a small trainer, Steve Benton, and Jamaican Minalouche.
Yeah, it ran 4th. Funny enough, I also thought it ran 3rd, but the photo went against it. It finished up 4th. Very good run. I looked at it, Chestnut with a slight sway back. Jamaican Minalouche, also an unraced horse for Steve Benton in the race. But
it is a 4-year-old, so there's not much. But the 3-year-old filly, there's a lot of improvement. To go and take on the Colts, and certainly gets allowance. But it was a very, very nice run indeed, and very shrewd money. Late for this, a lot of little nibbles, but that's Mace's game, isn't it? He likes to get them a little bit set up. We're going to move on, and we're going to have a look at Blast from the Past, where we're going to Australia. Now, the Blast from the Past is not very old. It's not a long way past. It's like on Saturday, the Blue Diamond Stakes, which is always one of the huge 2-year-old races. And there's an interesting story with this race.
Yeah, very interesting story about the Blue Diamond is because there are 2 races that they go for, the Blue Diamond and the Slipper. And the Blue Diamond makes stallions, the Slipper makes stallions. You get a good horse. And a good friend of South Africans, David Raphael, who's come out here many times, sports industry, bought a horse called Rubik. And they got a partner, and it won its first 2 races. And I think it was Coolmore, a big organization, came in with massive money for 20%, a lot of money. And they bought a share in this horse. And the unbeaten horses were the Exceed and Excel filly called Earthquake, and Rubik, who's a very fast horse who runs in the yellow colours. And obviously, David Raphael and his family had gone down to Melbourne, to Caulfield, to watch us. It's a very good race, James, very good horses.
Well, Earthquake was rumoured to be the right horse. He ended up being the favourite, but it's a wonderful story, this. And Earthquake trained by Peter Snowden and his brother.
And his son. Very
yes.
emotional in the winner's box. And, he had trained for Sheikh Mohammed, and they'd gone out. And this filly, Earthquake, drew barrier 15, which they said is taboo. It cannot win. But he gets it over beautifully, and this is a superstar, Earthquake. Rubik ran a good race.
Yeah, let's go and watch it. It was quite interesting to watch the big Australian 2-year-old races.
All set. They're off. Earthquake jumped well. Boomwa got away quickly. Rubik out fast too, and Mojave got away fast, and so did Jabali down near the inside. Malaguira. No speed at all. Chivalry's gone back to last as they settle into stride. And the Yellies up there driving through on the inside with Rubik and Boomwa. They're the leaders settling into stride. Just ahead of Jabali getting up on the inside, and Earthquake's got over on the outside of the stablemate Mojave. Followed by Nostradamus and then Top Dolly, Cornrow, Malaguira the rail. A length further back in the field then is Francesco Zululand, followed then by Golconda. Stratum Stars well back from Piacenza, and Chivalry last of all. Up to the home turn they race now, and it's Nayeli leading narrowly. On the outside is Rubik, followed by Boomwa under pressure, and then came Jabali waiting on a run right behind them. Followed by Mojave, and Earthquake comes to the outside, and then came Nostradamus. Rubik shot to the front early in the straight. Jabali's coming after him from Boomwa. Here comes Earthquake. She's starting to storm home. It's Rubik at the 150, grabbed in a stride by Earthquake. In the Jabali's in the middle, but it's Earthquake who's bounded away now. Earthquake racing away to win the diamond. Scored by 2 lengths Jabali. Cornrow's got up for third and Rubik 4. Followed by Boomwa, Nostradamus, Chivalry flashing home. Zululand followed by Mojave, and then came Malaguira. Behind those to finish was Piacenza, Stratum Star. A break further back in the field to Golconda. Being trailed then by Nayeli and Francesco together. And a distant last is Top Dolly.
Well, interesting. I'm not sure the jockey wouldn't have got a holiday because he did run back over, lug back in.
Yeah.
David Raffel's horse looked like it was going to walk it going through 300.
300 was race over for Rubik. He's a very good horse. As I say, he's already been syndicated, and he's. If you get a horse into this race, or go in here as favourite, you're going to get big money. What a big day for Exceed and Excel, though, James. First and second were by Exceed and Excel. The third horse was the broodmare side was Exceed and Excel. The sixth horse was by Exceed and Excel. So really, really big money. In about a few weeks' time, James, they go for the slipper.
Well, I see the South African horse in here.
I thought you were going to come with that. Zululand.
Yeah, well, where did he come from? He must be
he's
King
by
Sharka's brother.
Yeah, well, Zululand, who ran down the field, is by Fastnet Rock at a Dream Play.
Very good name they found for it. It really adds up. Fastnet Rock and Dream Play will make Zululand. I think that's well played. Well, it must be someone that went to Shishlui and had a good time, so they decided to call the horse Zululand.
Zululand.
Because the only way it could have been called Zululand, one of those Australians, they ran out of names, so you know what happened. Found Zululand. Anyway, we're going to move on and have a look at the plum of the week.
.300 metres to go, and Bolival's about to be set alight. 300 out, and Bolival's about to put her head in front. Down the inside, Princess Jewel looks to go with them, but Bolival now puts in her stride at the 200. Phonetic looks to run on. Sawborn's down the centre of the course. Over the last 100, and Bolival, this is bullseye. Bolival goes on for the victory, and Bolival won by 2. Phonetic second, Sawborn got up third, and then came Catching Zeds.
Well, Bolival could have got 5-2 on Interbet. It started much shorter than that. But this was an absolute blinder.
Yeah.
It ran 2 very good races, and they put it over a 1,400 metres, 1,450 or 1,600 at Clearwood, which was patently too far for it. And then brought it back to the 1,200. When I saw this in the thing, I think the Interbet best bet I made this horse, and the boys had to get the money.
A good plum, this.
Yeah,
a good plum.
Very, very good plum. The other one we could have made the plum was the horse we picked up
in Joburg.
3 to follow in
Joburg. Silvano of Little.
Yeah, Devon Littles. Pierre got on it this time.
Yeah.
Absolutely cantered home. So you watch the plum of the week, and you've got to have a chance of having backed something that we made in one of the 3 to follow. Now, interesting, I was looking on African Betting Clan. Some of the guys have a little black book where they keep all the information in. And I think it's a huge plus if you write stuff down from these horses to follow, because these horses to follow, and you put them in the right race, they end up winning.
Correct. You find horses and you say to yourself, "I must memorize this. This got balked. That didn't get around. This will win next time." That's how you forget otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're going to take a break from this and go and see a race in either the United States, probably Parks, and we'll come back to you with current affairs, the second part of Winning Ways.
Right, welcome back to Current Affairs, and we had 2 Group 3 races run down in Cape Town that we've got to show you, and some other interesting stuff. We've had our traditional call with Michael de Kock. But James, let's go into these 2 races. Firstly, the Electron Chairman's Cup at Kenilworth, and interesting race. What did you think?
Well, the horse that I think is the Derby winner last year here, he ended up winning it. He's a very, very nice horse and hot ticket. And I think let's go and have a look at how much we got. I think we got the last 600 meters. But just before we go into this, Electron and that's Two Oceans Racing, Keith Steinberg and them. They're good sponsors in Cape Town. They really help.
I think Keith had a winner on his day, on the Two Oceans Day.
Yes, he did. Which
so
was
that's
very
wonderful.
nice.
Well done. He's a good player in the game. He's got a lot of horses, and he deserves a bit of luck.
Yeah, and certainly supports this day. It's the sort of end of the season, but I think they have a lot of fun and they give away a lot of appliances. It's a very good company, Electron, and they've been in it a long time and certainly do a good job. But let's go and have a look at the Chairman's Cup, Grade 3.
Turn. They have about 900 metres left to go, and Posh Boy still takes the field along. Waving Flag racing second, no change in the order there. Follow the Wind racing down to the rail third. Barossa Valley in behind these. Hot Ticket is poised to have a crack at them. Coltrane is in behind that one. Silver Holly will corner just 4 lengths off them. They're far more compact. Pinotage Pete and Drill Sergeant in behind those as they straighten up now off that false rail. 550 left to the line. Waving Flag quickly comes forward to join issue. Posh Boys along the inside. Barossa Valley's in behind those. Hot Ticket is poised to have a go at them. He's just a length and a half off them. Back towards the inside, Silver Holly. Jeppy's Reef is trying to get into it up towards the outside. It's Waving Flag in front. Now Hot Ticket set about his business in the centre, and he's coming home nicely. Jeppy's Reef a big danger up towards the outside, but Hot Ticket came to the front at the right time, and he's going on too well for the opposition. Here's a class stayer in the making. Hot Ticket too good, draws away, hands and heels to win it well. Jeppy's Reef second, Waving Flag third. They were followed by Paddy O'Reilly, behind that Barossa Valley, and then Pinotage Pete.
Yeah, well done to everyone concerned with Hot Ticket and the Silvana. The merry band of Silvana's gone. Our big race was won by Silvana this week as well. Fantastic stallion, and Dean's got this horse to stays very well.
Well, it's very nice for the Stegmans, a family of mine, and Hunts and Judy. I think it's one
Hunts
of the
and Judy.
Hunts and Judy,
Hunts and Judy.
And it's one of the first, group of, or they've had a number of group winners actually, and certainly had some good horses they produced. But Hot Ticket got beaten.
They bred it as well, James.
They bred it, yeah. They bred it for the Canamare bunch, and this horse ran second in the Derby. He got beaten the shortest of short heads by Silvano's Jet.
That's right.
Remember,
It was a great day. That's correct. Great
Derby.
day for the Silvanas. So let's move on to the other feature. The next race was the Two Oceans Racing Prix du Cup. It's a Grade 3, and it's a 7-furlong race that I nearly won with Oracle News, beaten on the line. So I know this race well. It's the end of a season race for the fillies. And let's go and have a look, and we can talk about it, James.
Take the angle into the home stretch, opened up now, deleted by about 5 lengths to Diva's Daughters. They come off that false rail. In behind them, Priceless Jewel is just along the outside. Towards the inside, Gold Academy. Maybe he starts to make a little progress. Wider out in the track, Pure Power is coming to that outside running round and starting to close ground. Jean's Pride, still a useful leader as they come to the final 300. Maybe Yes is now coming on well. Priceless Jewel, Gold Academy. From the back of the field, Jet Bell is starting to unwind a good-looking run. Jean's Pride is running on empty. Jet Bell, Priceless Jewel, Maybe Yes between runners. Gold Academy towards the outside. It's Priceless Jewel has picked it up from Maybe Yes along the inside. Lana Falcon is charging home up towards the outside, but it's going to be Priceless Jewel who stays on to win it. Got tight for second. Lana Falcon, Maybe Yes, Gold Academy further back, then Sea Cat.
Well, another plug for Ashawi's and winning a very good race. Leonard Falcon making up a lot of ground. James, well done to young Adam Marcus. He hasn't been training all that long and won a very good race.
Well, you know, he was under pressure, and I heard that Basil had some stern words to say to him about, you know, the season so far. And, you know, Basil owns a share in this with the Armitages. Basil was on his case, Adam.
Oh,
so
well,
he had to do
he's
something.
answered,
So well
answered
done,
his
you know.
dad's urgings.
Yeah, he got Anthony Delpeche to ride it, and certainly rode a cracking good race. So she always runs from the front, but she had a ready-made pacemaker in the race. And very, very good run and win from her, which now gives her black type, big black type.
Yeah.
So I think it's very worthwhile.
And Lena Falcon, she's gaming.
Oh, she's so unlucky, this filly. She comes from way off them, and we've always picked her up. I think we picked her up when she won a juvenile race as a filly to follow, and she's run second, third in all the cracking big ones. I love Lana Falcon.
Well done to Armitages for breeding Priceless Jewel. It's won a very, very good race. So, James, those were our 2 Group 3s that happened over the week. Anything else from your side?
No, we got all the Dubai action, and we're going to go and have a look at Dubai action and then chat about it. I think that let's go and have a look at what we've got as far as Dubai is concerned.
The starter has the butt, pushes it, right approach, brought up 1,000 metres, but Grand Emporium in front, too good. Asiatic Boy wins the UAE Triple Crown. It's unclassic, it's another one for South Africa. Musa takes the lead from Rayhana. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgo Sprint. It's Victory Moon. Comes again. Victory Moon. Ipe Tombe takes the lead and wins 2 seconds for the Dubai Duty Free. Ipe Tombe the winner.
Okay. Well, here we go. Mike de Kock on the line from Dubai. How are you, Mike?
Yeah, good, thanks, James.
Excellent. Last week, not great.
Yeah, listen, a few places. I thought Zayi was a bit unlucky. As for the rest, also a bit of luck in running a few of them. You know, they were just beaten on the day. That's all they should.
Right, let's go into this week, which looks very exciting. You've obviously got Mahi entered in the first 3 races. Does he look like a runner?
I'm more than likely going to run him on the all-weather. Over 6 furlongs. Kavanagh will probably run on the turf over 6 furlongs. He's probably a bit better there.
Yeah, he seemed to be like he took not much interest at the back of the field on the all-weather last time.
Yeah, I think he's better on the. I think he'll be better on the turf 6 furlongs. He won the same race last year, so I'm hoping he reproduces this year.
Okay, Alexandra Palace, bit disappointing. Not too far.
Yeah, I suppose too close to the pace last time when he came from last the time before. I'd say maybe worth a reprieve. The horse is working really well. He's going to run again. Maybe switch to the turf. We'll see.
So we'll get out of it with him this time. Interesting runners in race 4. You got Charlotta and Wednan.
Yeah, they're both doing very, very well. I would have a slight preference for Wednan. I think he's a better turf horse than he is an oiler horse, but both have actually come very well.
And then race 5, you've got the Oaks, the UAE Oaks, which you've been successful before. You've got the Mensura, the Magruma, and the Magruras, all the mags.
Yeah, we've got the 3-ponger track. Look, at the end of the day, I haven't seen the entries yet, but I would say if Godolphin have got the same filly in Itimal or whatever her name is, very hard to beat. A solid European Group 1 form. If we run second there again, it'll be a good run.
Interesting, Godolphin, they ran that filly Certify last week, looked like an absolute blinder, and she didn't shape.
Yeah, look, I suppose the second run after the year, she played up at the gates. It happens, James.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't a happy horse at the gates, didn't want to go in. I think the alarm bells would have been ringing there, you know.
Mark, just touching another runners. Mushrik, got a shout?
Oh, he must be a big runner. He won the same race last year. Although that also mine Gale Force tends to come very well of late, so I'm hoping for a big run out of him.
So overall in the day, Mark, some very nice runners.
Very nice. You know, there's Saturday racing as well. It's a double header.
Okay, and are you have you got a couple on that day as well?
well, there's a lot of them dual entered, like Alexander Palace, Mick Dumps, and Showers. There's a lot of dual entries. They're both carnival meetings.
Okay, Mike. Well, that's excellent.
Mike, just interesting before you go, I see here you've had another week with Anton Marcus. That should have been a barrel of laughs.
Yeah, he got here yesterday to look. He's lost in the fog. Unfortunately, so we couldn't see much. We didn't see much of him.
Well, he left here with a long face because he's going to miss out on a couple of winners. You know, they've earned him 3,000 rand each.
Yeah, no, he's all right. He'll be all right. He's not down to his last billion yet, so he's okay.
Mike, you have a great week. Thanks so much for chatting, and take the Pikeys apart. You know, they don't need the money.
Will do. All right, James.
All right, cheers, Mike.
All the best. Cheers, Mike.
Mike de Kock on the line from Dubai, and as usual, give us all the information, and fantastic to have him on the line again. And quite interesting, some of the runners this week. We're going to be having a close look at a couple of those come World Cup night. I think he's getting them all ready. It seems like quite bullish as far as the stable's concerned.
The starter has the button, pushes it, right approach, brought up 1,000 metres, but Grand Emporium in front, too good. Asiatic Boy wins the UAE Triple Crown. It's unclassic, it's another one for South Africa. Musa takes the lead from Rehana. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgos sprint. It's Victory Moon. Comes again. Victory Moon. Ipe Tombe takes the lead and wins 2 seconds for the Dubai duty-free Ipe Tombe, the winner.
Well, fantastic chatting to Mike de Kock live on the line from Dubai, and we're going to go and have a look at one of the triumphs of all time, Asiatic Boy winning in Dubai.
He was some racehorse, wasn't he, James?
Yeah.
Whoa, some racehorse, Asiatic Boy, and I believe he's gone to stud, eh?
Yeah, let's go and have a look at Asiatic Boy.
Soft falling rain, the 3-year-old is coming at half thick. He's picking him up with every stride. Soft falling rain alongside half thick. He puts his head in front. Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile.
Well, that's right. That's the key point, I think, is Asiatic Boy has always just led or sat outside the pace. This is the first time, potentially, he could be attacked by Folk on the outside. She's always shown natural gate speed, and it could well be that as regards at least the Asiatic Folk battle, that could take place in the first 300 metres. And it's a question of whoever wins that battle, whether they'll lose the war if Otam Bim comes right over the top of them in the closing stages.
And if they go too fast, I think that Bartola might be the mystery horse in the race. 1 over 2,500 metres and will be running on.
Last couple going forward for the Classic, the UAE Derby. Here's Terry.
Jack Jr. goes in. Victory Tetsuni moves in, and they are ready to run. Racing in the UAE Derby of 2007, and Japan's Victory Tetsuni dropped back shortly after the break. Asiatic Boy began well. Day Pass going forward. Jack Jr. and Rallying Cry on the fence, all showing speed. Asiatic Boy is trapped 4 deep at the end of 250 metres. Folk the filly settling 5th, 3.5 lengths off the lead, and then Adele on the outside of Traffic Guard. Seal Point is wide around the first bend, a length away Bartola. Yotam Bing out very deep, but being asked to improve. Joe Lewis on the fence. Greetings well back, and Victory Tetsuni is 2 lengths away, bringing up the rear as they go to the 1,100 metres mark. Rallying Cry had the advantage at the inside and led by 3/4 of a length. Day Pass is second. Asiatic Boy 3/4 of a length away third, but travelling wide. Jack Jr. on the fence, a half length to Folk. Adele pushing up in the centre. Yotam Bing has made ground on the outside of Traffic Guard. 3/4 of a length to Seal Point, followed by Joe Lewis, then Greetings. Victory Tetsuni is second last, and the filly Bartola had dropped out to the rear as they came onto the turn in the Derby. 600 metres left to go. Rallying Cry on the fence. Asiatic Boy deep. Day Pass between them. Jack Jr. on the rail. Adele the Grey is under the whip. Then the filly Folk with the white cap. And Joe Lewis going up on the fence as they reach the 400 metres peg. Asiatic Boy driven to the lead by Wai Chong. Skipped 2 lengths in front of Jack Jr. Rallying Cry on the rail. Then Adele. Folks not in it. Yo Tambing is struggling, followed by Traffic Car, but it is all about Asiatic Boy. Past the 200 metres mark, and here is a champion racehorse. Asiatic Boy has streaked clear of Jack Jr. Adele is third. Asiatic Boy wins the UAE Triple Crown and wins it magnificently. Jack Jr. is second, Adele is third, then Victory Texuni, Rallying Cry, Traffic Guard, then came Yo Tambing, Joe Lewis, Day Pass Folk, Seal Point, Bartola, and Greetings was last of all.
How impressive was that?
Wai Chong, he was amazing.
Yeah, he certainly was. Our game plan was to let him run in front as he always does. But they beat him for speed, he relaxed. When I picked him up, he's a real smart horse.
You got carried quite wide.
You know, you never had the best of trips, but I guess that's racing. Most important thing, he's a smart horse.
First horse to win the UAE Triple Crown. What sort of feel does he give you when you're on him?
He's a very, very good horse, I would like to say. This is the best horse that I've run in my career.
That's saying something. Well done.
Thank you.
That's your third UA Derby win. That's got to be the most impressive.
No doubt. You know, they try to keep him wide the whole way. Wai Chong held his ground. Very impressive. Super impressive.
Soft falling rain, the 3-year-old is coming at hard thick. He's picking him up with every stride. Soft falling rain alongside hard thick. He puts his head in front. Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile.
Well, there we go. Unfortunately, last week another travel agency had an advert slipped in here, but Let's Go Travel is our travel choice to Dubai, and they are part of Winning Ways. And I just want to basically say what they do, Let's Go Travel, so that you understand what you're paying for.
Racing,
you know?
sport. They
You've
take
been
groups.
a number of times with them.
Well, I go every year. I've been about 10 years now. It's one of my favourite racing trips.
5-star hotel in Movenpick they stay at.
They're outstanding. Pool on the roof. It's really a special trip because, you know, over the years, Michael de Kock's come on board, and I think that's what makes it so special. He puts on the braai, you see the horses, and you go off for a party afterwards with the whole gang, where basically you don't pay for your drink or your food, and all your transfers are done in this big bus. So there's a lot of camaraderie. It's very good.
But the Tuesday night, they seemed, and Phil was telling me that they have some type of cocktail party, and then there's going to be on the Friday night after you've had the buffet, the brunch, yeah, which is great.
The brunch is famous.
Yeah, they're having a braai on the roof or something at Maidon that Phil's organised.
that would be early
Thursday night.
Yeah, we go to.
You go to the stable tour, I think that's
the braai is on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
You've got on Thursday morning. You've got the gallops. You go out there and watch the gallops. It's breakfast with the stars, which is fantastic. People get out there and
do they still have breakfast with the stars?
Yeah, they still have breakfast with the stars. No, they used to have a big party, which they don't have anymore. The sheikhs used to put on a party, but we go down to a big pub. After the brunch. What's it called? The Basmati or something. It's named after rice. But it's a great pub, and that's the day before. Then you go off racing. The beauty is, in the early days, James, we used to catch taxis, and you couldn't get there. It's just a crowd. So we've got a big South African bus with all flags, 60 people or so in a bus. That's really good. It's a cooler box of drinks, and everyone's dressed to the nines. It's a fabulous day's racing, and this year, J-Lo's singing.
J-Lo, and you guys all got tickets to J-Lo. You all go and see J-Lo.
All organised. We're right down next to the parade ring. I think the key is where you watch the racing from, because you can talk
well,
to the jocks.
that is the key. Is they've got the best viewing place that you can have at World Cup night. But we're going to have to call it a day. As we say, Let's Go Travel. There are just a few seats left, so you better get hold of Phil Giorgio if you want to go. And you'll be seeing Laff there. I'm going to Super Saturday. I go with the plebs. These oaks go with the big shots. But That's it from current affairs, and we're going to have a look at Seattle Slew Part 2 in your call.
The Belmont Stakes meant everything to Seattle Slew. It wasn't the end of the story of Seattle Slew by any means.
At a time when marketing and promotion techniques had taken a quantum leap, Seattle Slew's celebrity rivaled that of Secretariat's, at least in the short run.
I think they felt something akin to an obligation to share this horse, and I think they had a sense of really understanding that this horse belongs to the public, not just me.
They ended up doing a lot of merchandising, television commercials. They were on TV all the time. But I don't think they really thought that this would hurt the horse. I thought that they thought that the horse was capable of handling it.
They had Seattle Slew glasses, Seattle Slew T-shirts. He became a freak, a curiosity, a sales piece.
All of a sudden, this horse was a commercial commodity. I wasn't geared in for that and didn't understand it because it was all new. It was all new to everyone.
As we've seen many times in different sports, people that have a lot of success very quickly, I think sometimes it kind of goes to your head and maybe you think you're a little bit smarter than you really are.
We wanted the world to see this horse, but I think that you just have to have the horse tell you. And if the horse is ready to go someplace, we would have gone if it was in his best interest.
They just caught up in the emotion of it. They thought the horse was invincible. They thought the ride would never end. Perhaps there's an element of greed in it. Who could blame them?
It was fun. It was exciting. But we also wanted to keep on running that horse. So the job wasn't over.
In the frenetic aftermath of Belmont, Slew's owners broke with tradition and shipped him to the West Coast to run in the Swaps Stakes.
You could see at the time it was a terrible decision. A horse who's been through the rigors of the Triple Crown should not then be taken out on a national circus tour. He is supposed to be given the summer off.
Billy Turner thought the horse really deserved a rest, but the owners became enamored with the idea of going to California and running in the Swap Stakes.
He'd done everything you could ask of him. I figured it'd be just natural to give him a break.
The day he was going to ship to California, my husband said to Billy Turner, he will not get on the airplane if you have any doubts whatsoever. And there were none.
Seattle Slew was the most famous horse in the world at the time. Hollywood Park went whole hog to try to get the Slew crew to bring the horse west.
When you have a good horse that does things like Slew did, you do get to feeling invincible.
They believed that it was going to be an easy spot. Head on out there, remain unbeaten, win the race, and go on with this 3-year-old campaign. But they were in for a rude awakening.
Using his best body language, Seattle Slew tried to speak up.
Slew was telling us, guys, I'm a little bit tired. Slew told us. We just didn't listen.
I was numb when I was in California. I tried not to think about it. I just never had a good feeling about it.
Didn't work the way he normally worked. We should have just scratched right then. Of course, it would have been pretty tough to scratch with all the hoopla that was going on.
There were fans on the backstretch of Hollywood Park in the stable area lining the road where Seattle Slew would walk around the corner of the clubhouse turn and into the receiving area for the Swap Stakes. I'd never seen anything like that before.
He resembled one of those Clydesdales out there that pulls the bud wagons between the races.
And Seattle Slew is dropping back. Seattle Slew is well beaten.
As as they were turning into the stretch, and J.O. Tobin was drawing off. And I remember just my jaw dropping of like, oh my God, he's going to get beat.
I had a minute, and then knowing that we were going to get beat. That's the longest minute you're ever going to spend in your life.
J.O. Tobin, affiliate on the outside in text, and J.O. Tobin is the winner by 8.5 lengths.
Finishing out of the money for the only time in his career, Seattle Slew struggled home 16 lengths off the pace set by winner J.O. Tobin.
It was a colossal blunder, and it erased some of the greatness that this horse had achieved. I think sometimes people, start to think that the horses are completely invincible, and they are flesh and bones, and you can't do those sort of things to them.
I was forbidden to talk to the press after the race. I was taken to the airport and get on my plane to go back to New York.
He could have beaten J.O. Tobin probably 99 out of 100 times, but that was the one time that he shouldn't have been in the race against J.O. Tobin or maybe anybody else. And he wasn't up to it, and it was one of the biggest upsets of all time.
Drew on one of my old favorite characters, Don Quixote, and I said, "We carried the impossible dream one step too far."
Hollywood Park had put up some appearance money for the horse to come out there, so there was some incentive for him.
It was devastating for the Taylors and Hills, knowing that the decision to even go out there was being questioned by virtually everybody in the sport.
It certainly soiled the image of the Hills and the Taylors in the eyes of the press. They felt that Billy Turner had been badly used, and they came out like these greedy people who went out to California to win a pot of money with a horse who deserved better.
They thought the horse was invincible, and when something went wrong, somebody had to be blamed, and it was Billy.
That was the beginning of the end, of Billy Turner and Seattle Slew. Now, suddenly, his decisions are being second-guessed.
But Turner was drinking heavily in those days. He was very irresponsible. His life was totally disorganized.
Everybody knew Billy was drinking hard, And when you have an investment like that, you can't show up in the morning and have your trainer show up drunk,
And my husband said, go off and get yourself straightened out, get some help, and he just wouldn't do it. And finally, they said, if you can't straighten this out, Billy, we're going to have to take the horse away from you.
He was making some errors in the management of his horses. We tried to help him with his problems, but Billy was not receptive to the help. And so we just had to pick up and leave.
Late in 1977, the trainer was turned loose.
The business decision had been made, and I'm an employee. But that was the first time that I was ever questioned on anything that I did with the horse. Anything.
Well, how many times have you seen it happen where success spoils all the fun? In some ways, it's inevitable when you go in with modest means and low expectations, and suddenly you have a monster on your hands.
Now, they look great standing at the top of the world. Everybody looked like couples on a wedding cake. And in one fell swoop, that was all gone. Suddenly, these people were in retreat. The honeymoon was not only over, it was crashingly over.
Hoping to redeem themselves in their own eyes and those of the entire racing world, the Seattle Slew crew, with new trainer Doug Peterson, faced a crisis more serious than embarrassment.
Mike Kennedy took his temperature and was normal at 5 o'clock. And Doug put his hand on Slew. He says, "Mike, take his temperature again." And Mike says, "What?" They took his temperature and it was 101. Doc got there about an hour later. He was 104. By that evening, his fever still hadn't broken. And the next day, he had inflammation in the vein that we had used to administer the drugs to him. He went from the toughest stud to being just kind, like, I got to get through this. Help me out, people. Somebody's got to help me. And it was a tough time.
After Seattle Slew survived a near-fatal viral infection, his owners sold half interest in his future to a syndicate for $6 million in February of 1978. But the skeptics who attempted to devalue his accomplishments of a year earlier once more raised their voices.
Within a year's time, this horse went from being a Triple Crown winner to almost being the butt of jokes, and his career practically disintegrated.
In May of 1978, the 4-year-old began a comeback. After winning impressively in 2 allowance races, his owners considered matching him against the most recent Triple Crown winner, Affirmed. But before they could meet, Seattle Slew suffered a setback at the Patterson Handicap.
Dr. Patches on the outside. On the rail at Seattle Slew. They're head and stride for stride. Dr. Patches on the outside. Seattle Slew on the rail. Those 2 to the wire.
I went back in the jockey room to interview Cougar, and Cougar made some comments which implied that Seattle Slew was short. And I knew at the time that Cougar just signed his dismissal certificate.
Jean Cougar was replaced by the hard-riding Angel Cordero later that September. His mission, bring Seattle Slew home first against Affirmed in the Marlboro Cup.
The meeting between Seattle Slew and Affirmed really captivated the public imagination, and it was one of those rare races that engaged the imagination of the average sports fan and not just the racing fan. There was also a feeling that Affirmed was absolutely the crowd favorite.
Everyone's saying Affirmed, Affirmed, Affirmed. It's the first time ever that he's not the favorite.
The wheels had come off. The horse got beat. The trainer got changed. The horse was sick. There were accusations that they were not really wanting to run him, that they changed riders. Even with all that, it stunned me that some of the crowd booed the Slew when he came into the paddock.
And a lot of Seattle Slew fans were just licking their chops at the opportunity to say, hey, wait a second, don't forget about Seattle Slew.
He happened to walk into the 1 hole, which was Affirmed stall. And as soon as he got close to the stall, he started bouncing around. And I said, I don't know if intimidation works in animal, but as I bet Affirmed would be scared of these horses walking around.
The main thing that Angel and I and Doug talked about was all Affirmed's going to see is Slew's big black butt.
I knew that he was a great horse always. I knew he had the heart. I knew he had the speed. I knew he had the intelligence.
And they're off. For the lead, Affirmed breaks sharply on the inside, Seattle Slew on the outside.
Seattle Slew just took over from the beginning, and it was a wonderful exhibition of greatness by both horses.
As they move for the main track, the leader is Seattle Slew by 2. Affirmed is second by 1 length.
I don't think that I gave him too much rope or let him get too away from me. The fact was that he was not going to be beaten on that day.
Nearing the finish, Seattle Slew has it by 4. Affirmed, far back, nasty and bold. At the wire, it's going to be Seattle Slew.
It absolutely turned his career and his reputation around. If Seattle Slew had been beaten 5 lengths that day by Affirmed, I think Seattle Slew would be thought of now as some kind of accidental Triple Crown winner who came along and got lucky.
To further underline Seattle Slew's greatness, he was entered against Affirmed again in the Jockey Club Gold Cup at Belmont.
I think American race fans like a noble loser just as much as they do a spectacular winner.
And they're up for the lead. Seattle Slew along the inside, then Affirmed on the outside. It's Lights Hope.
Affirmed and Seattle Slew went through 6 furlongs in 1:09 and change. It was just an unbelievable speed duel between these two.
On the turn, still Slew. He's got it 2.5. Affirmed is picking up a bit of ground on the turn.
All of a sudden, Affirmed saddle slip, and he drops out of it. Seattle Slew's in front, but he's got to be dead tired. And Bill Shoemaker, who rode Exceller, was just sitting back off of that suicidal speed duel, knowing he was going to pick up the pieces.
So I figured this is the time to give my horse a chance to breathe. Now all of a sudden something told me turn around, and I turned around, and he was Exceller. For line. Here comes Exceller. He's got it in gear, and he's flying now at the leader.
I shot up on the inside of him before he knew I was there. And he tried to pinch me off, but he couldn't. I was already there. And we came down the stretch, head and head, and Seattle Slew was coming back at me again.
It's Exceller along the inside.
Seattle Slew on the outside. This is a real battle on to the wire, but Exceller gets a narrow lead as they pass the 16th hole. Seattle Slew coming back again. At the finish, this is going to be tight.
I've never seen a horse so ennobled by defeat, because that was one of the rare times when Slew was kind of put to a character test, and he certainly passed.
And even though he lost that, I think that race, as much as anything, really showed the breeders and showed horse people that Seattle Slew is indeed a truly great horse.
At Aqueduct in November of 1978, Seattle Slew ran his last race before a blue-collar following that had stayed strong through his career.
It was the perfect ending to Seattle Slew's career to have his last appearance be at Aqueduct. And it was really like letting him lead the post parade one more time.
The whip still down as Cordero now hand-riding out to the finish line. A mile in 34 and 2, going for that record with a 16th to go. Seattle Slew. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the champion of the world, Seattle Slew.
All of a sudden realize that you're not going to be able to walk out there on a Saturday afternoon and see Seattle Slew run. Feel your heart do what it does when that horse does his thing. It was certainly an emotional time for us, but we'd planned for it. We knew there was a time to run and there's a time to go to the breeding shed.
In direct contradiction to what racing's old guard thought of him, Seattle Slew proved that winning was in his genes. Time and again, he forged greatness into his offspring.
Seattle Slew has turned out to be a tremendously important sire. People at first thought, well, maybe we couldn't beat him on the racetrack, but when he gets to the breeding shed, we'll finally expose him for the blue-collar front runner that he really was.
He sired Swale, who won the Derby in '84, just went on to have an improbable but a spectacular impact on the game as a breeding stallion. And yet it seemed like he somehow managed to maintain his youth. You could go out there years after he had left the track, and he looked like he was ready to go out and run again.
He'd be so full of himself, and he'd be happy. And it's almost like he'd look around and say, did you see me out there? Did you see I can still do this?
By 2000, Seattle Slew's magnificent body was slowing down.
We found out that Slew had a neurological problem, and they thought, well, he might work out of it, might be a little arthritic, might be a, cold day. But he didn't work out of it, and he would go from side to side.
1977 Triple Crown winner Seattle Slew, one of the world's leading stallions, underwent successful surgery this past Sunday.
Once more, the Black Stallion recovered, and at 27 was returned to the breeding shed in 2001 as the only living Triple Crown winner. Yet history viewed his career in the shadow of another.
He didn't have a long time to bask in the glory. It had been 25 years before Secretariat won his Triple Crown. And Slew came back 4 years later, and 1 year later, here we have another one.
If Affirmed and Alydar hadn't had their great rivalry the very next year, perhaps his Triple Crown legacy would have lasted a little longer. Bang, it was the very next year. But I don't think he's a forgotten horse. I think people in racing and general sports fans very much remember him.
Nobody before and nobody since has made it through the Triple Crown undefeated. And that's an achievement that just looks bigger and bigger with the passage of years.
He was a wonderful horse going into the Triple Crown. He was a wonderful horse in the Triple Crown, and he was a wonderful horse after the Triple Crown. And maybe some people were knocking at him around the first Saturday in May and through the Belmont, but by the end of his career, he left no doubts.